Guys, so I started thinking about this topic while I was at work yesterday, and I kind of wanted to make a video on it, but I didn't feel like writing out a script or writing out, not script, but like points that I wanted to make, because I'm lazy. So I'm kind of just going to do it stream of consciousness style, where I kind of just talk about the topic, and hopefully my thoughts come across coherently, and I can think of all the points I want to say, and not keep doing big pauses like this because I can't remember what I wanted to say. Yeah, because it's just a topic that I have a lot of feelings about and thoughts on, so I thought, why not do a video? And that topic that I want to discuss is not feeling good enough, and it's like specifically related to writing and arts and stuff. When I was younger, every time I was asked what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said an author, because ever since I've been pretty young, I've loved writing. I've loved the idea of writing. I love stories, and I love telling stories and reading stories and just stories. And that mentality stuck with me all the way through school, like even through most of high school and till now even. Like writing is like the dream up there. But I'm starting to think that I'm not as good as I thought I was when I was in like grade 4. In elementary school, I was like one of those kids that was like the smart kid. You know, always got like really good marks and did so well on every like story or essay thing we had to write. All through elementary school, it was like that. I got into high school and it was a bit different. My elementary school was really small, first of all, so that was part of it. In high school, obviously the work gets harder, and I started kind of realizing that I wasn't like, not that I wasn't smart, but I wasn't, that smart kid anymore, and that I was just one of many intelligent people that I knew. Fairly intelligent. And then by like grade 12, I didn't feel quite so intelligent anymore. And now that I'm in university, I'm definitely feeling like I'm more towards the bottom of that list of like super smart people. Not that I'm not smart, but I'm not as smart as I used to be, or everything just got a lot harder and my brain just decided to not catch up to that, I guess. I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but I think it's because I've gotten to the point where I start comparing myself to everybody else, which I think, well, obviously everyone does, and it's not exactly healthy, but you see other people around you that are doing so much better, and you're like, why can't I be like that? Why can't I be as good as they are? And this happens a lot, specifically with my writing, because I still like writing, but I'm having a harder time coming up with ideas and finding motivation to write in the first place. Like, what I think my weakness is with writing is that I'm pretty good at just describing what's going on. Like, the physical actions and the words and dialogue and all that kind of like basic stuff. What I'm not great at is like the figurative language and the metaphors and the talking about how a character's feeling internally and getting all philosophical and stuff like that, which not that a book needs to be totally overloaded with that kind of thing, because then it kind of starts to be like a little bit too much for most people, and people see it as like pretentious or whatever. But I'm really not good at that stuff, and I feel like a good story and a good novel or whatever needs to have quite a bit of that in it, or like at least a little bit, and that's just not one of my strengths. And obviously the way to get better at that is by practicing and trying harder and learning new things about writing. And like I'm majoring in English, so I'm gonna learn something about writing, hopefully. And like they say, practice makes perfect. I know people who are artists who were never really great at drawing, but they kept practicing and kept trying, and they've gotten really good. And I'm sure it's like that with writing too, but I can't motivate myself to write, because when I write, I'm not happy with it, and then I just feel so inadequate. Like, I have friends who are writers, and their writing is so good. Like, they send me something to read, and they're just like, oh, it's just like my first draft, and it's not that great. And I'm like, this is 1,000 times better than anything I've ever written. Like, it's great to me how people have such great writing, and they can't see how great it is, and they just think it's all right. But then I started thinking, well, maybe my writing's like that. Maybe I personally don't see my writing as good because I'm the one who wrote it, and I had to look at it so much that it's just kind of become boring and like repetitive in my eyes or something. But someone else who's looking at it might think it's great. I know this is just kind of a thing that happens to writers. Like, everyone feels inadequate about something at some point in their lives, which I think I need to keep in mind, because if everyone feels like they're not good enough at some point, or most people feel it that way, then obviously I'm not alone. If I'm not the only one feeling that. Like, I know there's a lot of people who feel like they're not good enough, or that their writing's not good enough, or that they just don't have good ideas, and sometimes it's weird for me to think about people that, like, writers that I really admire are like that too. Like, for example, John Green. If you follow him on YouTube, you know he's been, like, mentioning his writing struggles for the past how many years since he's released a new book, because he's been trying to write things, but he can't quite get what he wants, and he doesn't feel like it's good enough yet and stuff, which is crazy because I think he's such a great writer and he's just so talented. And if even people like that can doubt themselves and struggle sometimes with their writing, then obviously someone like me who's not an experienced writer is going to have problems like that too. Like, it's starting to get annoying because when I'm reading books now, instead of, like when I read a really beautiful line or something, instead of thinking about how great that line is and just like enjoying it, all I can think of is, why can't I think of things like this? Why is my writing not this good? But like, obviously, me, an 18-year-old who barely writes and doesn't have a ton of experience, is not going to be as good as some 30-something-year-old accomplished writer who's been writing for years and years and years and practicing and has learned so many different techniques, and they're just older and they've had more life experience and more knowledge of things. Like, obviously they're going to be better than me. Why do I keep comparing myself to people who have had more experience and practice than me? Like, that doesn't make sense. That's like starting to learn ballet or something and watching one of your accomplished ballerina teachers dance and be like, wow, why am I not as good as them on your first day of classes? Like, obviously, you're not going to be like that because you haven't practiced yet. You haven't learned the techniques. That was actually a really good metaphor. Look at that! Look at that! I did a metaphor! Good for me! I'm getting better already. I think my main message here is for anyone who feels like me that their writing isn't good enough or that they feel like they're never going to get good at writing, just to practice. And I'm talking to myself here, too, of course. This message is for me, and for you, and for everybody. Your writing's not going to be perfect first time. Your first draft is probably going to be crap, but keep writing that crap, because you can't get better until you start practicing. So write crap. Even if it's crap, at least you wrote something, at least you're practicing. And one day you will get better at it. And even if you think your writing is like complete crap, chances are it's probably not. It's just because it came from your brain and you've been looking at it for so long and rereading it over and over again until it starts to just look not good to you. But other people who are looking at it with a fresh set of eyes probably think it's great, or at least good and passable. So don't compare yourself to more experienced people. Don't compare yourself to anyone, because your writing style can be very different from someone else's. And maybe they're really good at metaphors and deep philosophical things, and you're not. But that's okay. Not all writing has to be like that. So, in short, don't compare yourself to others. Keep practicing, and just write. Write crap, write great things, write whatever you want. I think that's all I wanted to say. I think I got all the points out that I wanted to. Hopefully, I remembered everything. How ironic that I'm making a video about writing, and yet I was too lazy to write out my points for it. Whatever. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, or whatever else you happen to celebrate. I just hope you have a really nice holiday season. I will see you guys later. Bye! Thumbnail posing. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever else you celebrate. I hope you just have a great time. What? No. I hate doing outros.